Predstavim Nika Vujicića.
Give me a hug.
I'll give you a hug.
Love you very much. Thank you.
So this is amazing, you know? You get this very often, or?
No, this is pretty good.
You know what? They always say that my audience is doing this because we order them to do it, you know? But you saw it when you came that it's not the case, you know? They just did it by themselves.
Thank you for your love.
Yeah.
Hvala.
Welcome. Yeah, you need to be careful, you know?
There's a lot of love here.
If you want to do this show, you need to be careful, you know? Welcome to my show. It's really a big honor to have you here. And this is your second time in your parents' country, if we can say so, you know?
That's right. Well, I consider it still my country. I mean, you know, they came from 60s to Australia, and
smart people, I can say.
Oh well, but we really feel spiritually and emotionally, mentally. I mean, we still are tied to Serbia. We have family still here, actually.
So, oh yeah, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It was actually. I knew about you, and many people in Serbia knows about you. But I think that this big rush about your coming here and the fact that people really want to hear you, it's very nice. It's I can say a pleasant surprise for me, you know.
Well, I'm actually really honored. I met Novak Djokovic at his Miami game, and yes. He, you know, saw me on YouTube, and he was sharing about how, you know, we really want to make a difference in Serbia, and I said, I'm going to Serbia, and he said, well, let me try help you. And, you know, when he put that video together for us,
yes.
And a lot of people like,
you were together on the charity in New York.
That's right. We were just there on the 12th of September, and that was fantastic as well.
Yeah, it was $1.4 million.
In one night.
Yeah, in one night.
It was amazing. And, you know, I love his genuineness as well, and how he's really giving back to the next generation.
I agree with you, but he's not the subject tonight. Tonight's subject is Nick. Okay?
That's right.
So what is... you know, you're a big parade also, you know?
Thank you.
So what are your impressions about Serbia? When you came first time, 2008, what was your expectations and what was your impressions when you came?
You know, it was a really beautiful moment where I came in 2008 and ne govorim srpski uopšte, and I'm too scared to even try.
Do you know the bad words?
Ali ja razumem. The bad words? No, I don't use them. But here it is.
But you know them.
But I know some of them, yeah.
You shouldn't use them, of course.
Maybe you can, anyway.
I can, if you want.
I don't need to.
Yeah, okay.
But for me, in my life, when you know, growing up in mum and dad's sort of mentality and appreciation for everything that you have and doing your best, you know, that's what they had to do to survive in their life and start a brand new life in Australia. So I think I got to really understand my parents a lot more and really, you know, admire them more. But I've been to 43 countries, some of them up to 18 times. Wow. I've met 7 presidents, I've spoken at 5 congresses, I've been in crowds as large as 110,000. We go visit orphanages, we go visit people with disabilities. But I tell you, when I was in Bela Crkva in 2008...
Which is actually your
hometown. Correct, of my parents. I saw these teenagers who are orphans, and either their mums and dads have died, or their mum and dad are just not in a good place to you know, be their parents. And I just said to myself, you know, these kids, naše deca, nema mame I tata. And just my heart was, what am I doing to go back and plant seeds in Serbia? And that dream started, and here we are today. And I'm just so thankful that Serbia has embraced the story of how, you know, no arms, no legs, but you can still have joy in your life and to never give up and know that God has a plan for everyone.
Yes. Do you have exact number of people that listen to you until now, officially?
4.5 million.
4.5 million people.
Yeah, face to face.
Wow.
So
it's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's more than some rock bands had in their career.
Hvala Bogu za sve. Seriously, yeah. I mean that. Because, you know, I at once felt like I had no hope. And who am I now that when I was a kid I have no hope, but now I'm being able to bring a message of hope? It's a miracle. And I want people to know that sometimes in life, you know, whether it's in India or China or Serbia or Australia or America, we all need to find the truth of three things. Number one, who I am, who you are, what makes me me? What's your value? Is it how you look? Is it your popularity? Is it how rich you are? No. It's got to come from within. There's not another me, there's not another you. Yeah. And it's okay for me to be me, and it's okay for you to be you. So who am I? I'm not judged by the world. You know, when the world says I'm not good enough, I get a second opinion. Yeah. But secondly, the second thing you need is the truth of your purpose. So once you know who you are, then to find your purpose. And then your destiny is thirdly. Where am I going when I'm not here? And Ivan, I'm telling you right now, my greatest joy, knowing that I'm never going to die. I'm going to go to heaven in a place where I'm never going to see hungry or orphan kids anymore. That's my hope. But in the meantime, we're here to make a difference. We're here to hold each other up. We're here to say, you know what, you're not alone. Don't give up, because God's not going to give up on you.
Nice, nice. I never had such a smart guy in my show. You know? Oh, really?
I love that.
We have some short video from YouTube.
Yeah.
It is about you and with you and all stuff you do.
Great.
So if you agree that we see
that would be lovely, sure.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
I just love life. I love life. You know, so many people come and say, how come you smile so much? And I'm like, well, it's a long story.
She walks busy streets looking for her next mate. Maybe he will be the one. 'Cause in her mind there is more to life than being someone. But deeper down she has found.
The desire for me to be independent and live a normal life and a full life is a dream of mine. I really just want to put limits aside and live life to the fullest and just going for it. To overcome an obstacle, you have to realize where you are and to visualize yourself overcoming these obstacles. To focus on the positive things that we do have, using everything that we have to the best of our ability.
Many people look at me and say, Nick, how come you're smiling? How come you're so happy? And I want to be like you. And I don't mean like, you know, I want to be like you in a prideful way, but they see the strength in me. You look at me and you want the confidence that I have. You want the smile that I have. Many people ask where it's from. And tonight I'm going to tell you where Nick's smile is from.
You're beautiful, just the way you are. Just the way you are. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Set. That's fun. Let's do it again.
Just the way you are.
What is my question now? They're going crazy. This short movie is amazing, in my opinion, you know, and it shows us how good life can be. But what I want to ask you is, was it always so perfect for you? It's just, I think that it just couldn't be, you know. And what I want to know and what I wish to know is, what was the crucial moment in your life when you found a way to help yourself and to help to the others? How it happened, and do you remember it? And how did you feel before it, and how do you feel now?
I'll start with how I felt before I got through the depression. I actually was one of the first disabled kids to go to a normal school. and it was a big step for the government in 1990 in Australia. And since then, many disabled children have gone to normal schools. But for me, I was the only one in a wheelchair, and I get a lot of teasing. I get a lot of, you know, kids laughing at me, calling me names, and I couldn't get away from it. You know, mum and dad, they say just ignore what they say, but you can't.
Yeah, when you're a kid, I mean, it's...
Ne možeš uopšte, znaš.
I know.
You like that? And, you know, when you're a kid, someone's opinion is the world. It's like, oh, you know, I want to be like them, you know, and I wish I had more. My brother and my sister were born after me with arms and legs, and I'm like, why me, right? And I had no answer. So, age 8, I actually tried to tell my mum that I'm thinking of committing suicide. And then at age 10, I tried actually in a bathtub with 15 centimeters of water. Why? Why did I want to give up? First of all the teasing and just feeling alone. Second of all, I didn't want to be a burden to my parents. I didn't want to just, oh, I need help every day. I don't want that. And thirdly, it was like, well, what life am I going to have? Am I going to get a job? No. Am I going to get married? No. Am I going to have kids? Probably not. That I was just, you know, thinking, what kind of life am I going to have? I thought, even if I did have a child, I can't even pick them up when they're crying. I'm like, what kind of a life is that? So at age 10, tried to give up. But because of the love of my parents, the third time I rolled over in the bathtub, I would say like a picture in my mind came of seeing my parents at my grave if I actually went through with it. And my mum and dad are here tonight, actually, in the studio.
Yes, they are, yeah.
And they're my heroes, you know. They're the ones who instilled all this love. And I realized if I actually went through with it, I would leave them with even more pain and burden that no one could heal. So I decided to stay. And now I realize in my life, it was love. Love is the greatest thing that I have ever come in face-to-face with. You know?
But it's,
let me just say, and on
it
that
was
note,
a very mature way of thinking for a 10-year-old child, you know.
Well, it was very mature because, you know, there were times where I couldn't do what all the kids were doing, so I'd be stuck talking to, you know, teachers and starting conversation with adults. And so that really, you know, forced me into a fasting of a quickening of my maturity. And I want to tell all the parents, don't quit telling your teenagers that they're beautiful. Because, you know, sometimes your teenager, of course you're going to tell me, you know, that I'm beautiful. I'm your son or I'm your daughter, you know, of course. But to actually know that, you know, when your teenager says, don't tell me that, no, keep on doing it. You know, when they put a do not disturb sign on their door, respect it, go through the window, and keep on telling them that they're beautiful. Oh, you don't?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can just drop into your room with
just
your
go
child.
in, right?
Yeah, beat it up, you know. It's an old Serbia.
Oh. But
unfortunately.
I love it. You're so funny. But for real, you know, to encourage each other is the greatest thing.
We can also say to the other children not to tease anybody.
That's true, you know.
It's also very important.
Don't judge anyone, you know, especially even parents that have kids who are in wheelchairs or different handicaps. You know, don't be ashamed of them. You know, I hope that my life is just one little example of what can come out of your broken pieces if you give your broken pieces a chance.
Then it's a very good moment now to say some things that happen in the meantime. You have a job, actually, yes?
Yeah.
And you have a wife?
I do.
And you will become a parent soon.
That's right.
Kind of nice, huh?
Thank you. Oh, it's amazing.
So you got 3 yes on your questions, yeah?
It's amazing. And all in 1 year. We got married, we bought a house, and we're pregnant. And she's 19 weeks old, and pozdravili moj žena je pozdravili svi.
Pozdrav.
Eljaču, nazad, ali...
Is she Australian?
No. Ona je pola Mexicanac I Japonesa. But born and raised in Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Nice mixture, huh?
Yeah, I mean, she's beautiful inside and out. Yeah,
cool.
But I wanted to also just finish off then that other play. How did I get through it? So what I realized was I actually love soccer. I don't know about, I mean, I'm Serbian in blood. I love soccer. And next is tennis, all right? For real. Ne lažemo uopšte. And kad ja sam igrao football, we were on the field, and my friend was ready to kick the ball, and the ball's coming right for me, really hard. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So I jump up in the air, and while I'm in the air, I do a karate kick with my foot. It sprains my foot, and I couldn't get out of bed for 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And I realized we have a choice. either to be angry for what we don't have or be thankful for what we do have, you know?
Cool. Oh, but I see you do fishing, you do golf.
Yeah.
You drive a boat.
We went skydiving, me and my wife.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It was
last year. It was beautiful.
Yeah, you do the swimming and also the surfing.
Yeah,
we have
surfing.
a lot of movies, but we don't want to put them all because it will take half of hour only on videos. You know, it's better to talk with you. Tell me, there is this movie that you did, like it's a real movie, yeah?
Yeah, a short film.
Short film,
yeah.
Yes.
It was my first time acting in a film.
How did you feel about it?
I was very nervous. My palms were sweating. My knees were shaking. I was really, really nervous. I didn't know how I'd be. And when I saw it in the end, like we're in the cinema and it's the release, I'm like I can't believe that's me on the screen. Like I've seen me on TV before, but on a movie, it's just very different.
It's different.
So
Yeah. Okay.
the whole setting.
Can you see the short clip from the movie?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, you coming in? Hey, big Will, come in! Hey! Will! Will! Look, I can swim! I can swim! Look like a barrel of moonshine! Here you
Okay, now I want to speak about a book. And about you're a motivational speaker. That's how they announce you, yes?
Yeah, I have two titles. I'm a motivational speaker for corporations or conferences that we're doing. And then where it's appropriate, I also bring in the faith aspect of how God has changed my life. So some call me an evangelist, but I just want people, basically, I don't care what title you give me, I just hope you're inspired.
Yes,
you know?
of course.
And
yes.
so that's what I love.
Well, so this is very interesting. I'm interested about your view about the religion, because the religion views brings a lot of problems to the people, and they all started up with the idea to solve problems, not to make them.
Right.
So you're not too pressured with the type of religion?
For me, I have a personal relationship with God. I pray every day. And in my life, it is the foundation because what I realized when I was 15 years old, I actually, as a kid, was very angry at God. Like, why did you do this to me? Why don't you give me arms and legs? You know, pray for a miracle. And nothing came. And at 15 years old, I saw John chapter 9 in the Bible, where a man was born blind. And I saw what Jesus did to the blind man. And I realized, wow, just because the blind man didn't know what God had in mind, God still had a plan for him. And I'm like, if God had a plan for a blind man, then God has a plan for me. And the message in the book is, if God has a plan for me, then God has a plan for everyone.
Yeah. Okay, so you don't mind if I show the book? Yeah,
that'd be great.
Okay. So it is in Serbian. Živjeti slobodno.
Životi slobodno.
So, do you live freely?
Freely, limits. You know, I want people to know that when we say, you know, unstoppable or life without limits, it doesn't mean that I'm bulletproof. You know, I have my ups and downs. I have very bad days and I have very good days. And we all have, you know, family and friends, hopefully, to pull you through. But in my life, really, I've actually come to a satisfaction in life that I don't really care what other people think of me. If it's negative, I'm like, you know, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to do my best. Reach for the heavens, and if they miss, they're still up there with the stars. That's what Zig Ziglar, one of my favorite speakers, said. And I'm like, man, I'm going to do that, you know? And actually, this book is dedicated to a friend of mine called Phil Toth. And he died of a Lou Gehrig's disease, which shut his body down at 27 years old. Yeah. And for 5 years, he suffered. And you know what? He didn't feel sorry for himself. You know what he did? He could barely move his head. typed on the computer with the laser technology, and he inspired people on the internet. He couldn't talk, he couldn't walk, and when I met him face to face, his smile changed my life. And I'm like, if this guy can change someone's life, then I'm going to do all that I can to let people know that just because this life doesn't always make sense, or we wish we had more, or things were different, don't look at that. Be thankful for what you have. Do your best and dream big.
Nice. What I also wanted to ask you is like, I missed the part. How did you start to do your
Yeah,
speaks?
that's a beautiful thing. And actually, remind me to talk about chapter 1. It's very, very precious. The way that I started speaking actually was I was at high school and I made friends with the janitor there. And he said, you know, you should talk and share your story. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a story. Nemam ništa da kažem, right? And he says, no, you should. And I'm like, all right. So 4 months later, I go there, I speak to 10 people. My phone starts ringing.
Do you remember what you said?
You know what? All I said was, I'm Nick Vujicic, and I felt like giving up, but I'm still here, and you can do it. Something like that. So simple. And people were crying, you know. They were, you know, plache, and I'm like, oh, thanks so much for making me feel good, you know. Like, it was nothing to me. And then one day, at 19 years old, in front of 300 teenagers, I spoke for 7 minutes. And within 3 minutes, I told everyone that you're beautiful just the way that you are, that I love you, I don't care how you look, you're here for a reason, don't give up. All I said was that. And half the people were crying, and this one girl in the middle of the room put up her hand. She said, can I come up there and give you a hug? In front of everybody, she came and she hugged me, and she cried on my shoulder, and she said, thank you, you changed my life. That's when I went to mom and dad. I went to mom and dad and I said, I know what I want to be. They said, what do you want to be? A speaker. And so the value of seeing her tears in her eyes and seeing that difference actually can be made in her soul, I'm like, I was born to be a speaker. So from then on, I started my business of motivational speaking and going around and sharing how, you know, through the non-profit organization, how, you know, my life's changed just to inspire people. And in chapter 1, going with this, I actually want you to know that we all want miracles. We all want hope. We all want to believe. And I just want you to know that I wanted my life to be different. And I've realized now, in chapter 1, I met a little boy with no arms and no legs, exactly like me. Little Nogo, right here, little Noge, right? And he's like so cute, 19 months old, and we bring him up on stage in front of everybody, and he looked at me, I looked at him, and I realized something. At 24 years old, when I can't get a miracle, I can still be a miracle for someone else. He was getting teased at school, so I went to his school and I ran him all over. No, with love and truth. And now he's the coolest kid in the school. And now he knows that he's not alone. He has Uncle Nick, and if Uncle Nick can get through, I will. And that's the beautiful thing about life.
Hey, it is. It's like, do you change your speech depending in which country you go, or you just change it depending, do you speak for the companies or you speak for the non-profit organizations, students, or whatever? You know?
I have about 6 different main speeches. So one for government, sometimes they talk about the value of life. They talk about anti-bullying, you know, in the school system and integration. I talk to corporations about making the most of it. Churches about how God, you know, has changed my life. So every sort of, you know, different setting is different. But for instance, I went to Slovenia as well in 2008. And I'm going back to Slovenia very, very soon, in about a couple days. And I'm going to be sharing a totally new topic. Same type of audience, but that's what I love. I like to bring something fresh. And I'm going to be sharing about how I actually went through a depression in 2010. Okay. And I went through a very difficult time in my life. And I was courting my wife, dating my wife for 3 months. And she cried with me for 2 weeks straight. And I had a business plan, right? And it just collapsed. And I'm like, wow. And I couldn't even trust my own decisions and felt like my confidence was ripped apart, and I just want people to know I'm not a superhero. So I'm going to be sharing about that and how I got through that and what I've learned, but also, of course, sharing the dreams coming true of meeting the woman of my dreams.
Okay, of your life.
Her saying yes when I asked her to marry me.
What will you speak to the people in Belgrade and Novi Sad? Because Friday you're in Belgrade, Saturday Novi Sad.
Yes.
Novi Sad is tomorrow, actually. We broadcast this on Friday, so who didn't hear you in Belgrade can go to Novi Sad, Spence.
That's right,
and
that's right.
hear you there.
So Novi Sad, we're going to be sharing about, as we did in Belgrade, that you know that in your life you have the choice of how you look at your life. Not to pretend and say, oh, I just have a positive attitude. No, with real principles, with real attitudes that's given me the strength to overcome. I'm going to be sharing, you know, how I was going into depression, how I got up through it, and giving keys to people in your own life, how to change obstacles into opportunities. The power of courage. Courage is courage to believe in the next generation of Serbia or in my own life or my next step in my life. Courage is so important. Fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. But when you have the courage, you don't know what you can achieve until you try it. And that's what I want people to know. To dream big, open up the hearts and the minds of people in Serbia to know that let's dream together, let's help each other, and let's never give up on the dream of the nation of Serbia and each other.
Hey, thank you. Can I ask you to sign me the book?
I would love to sign it.
So I'll help you a bit, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you put it
Almost of that.
Okay. And then to the shoulder or here?
Ovdje, hvala. Hoćeš kameru ovdje ili ne?
Sometimes I get so tired, just trying to find a place to lay my head. I look up to the sky, I feel the warmest light comfort me. I've seen the great heights, reminding me I'm alive. I don't wanna die.
Ja sam rekao...
Thank you very much.
Volim te puno, hvala za sve.
I need to give you a hug now. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Dame i gospodo, Nik Vujicic, koga nije čuo u Beogradu, Novi Sad, Spence. Thanks a lot, Nick. You're welcome here.